After 13 abortions, my boyfriend finally knew all the children were his. We dated for 10 years, and I had 13 abortions. All because Robert said he was non-committal, and having a child would only be a burden. Before walking into the operating room for the last time, Robert broke up with me. He said he was getting married. Just not to me. His young mistress was pregnant, and he needed to give her a home. She's different from you. It's her first pregnancy, she's just in her early 20s, hasn't even finished college. She's a good girl. I can't let her down. After the procedure, I didn't ask him for a piece of candy like I usually did. Because life was too bitter, I decided I would go back to the Miller estate, that sweet haven. Seeing me turn away with a pale face, Robert's best friend spoke up. Stop messing around, Rob. You two have been together for 10 years, you can't just break up. What's the point? Sarah just had an abortion, she's not feeling well. Go comfort her. Chloe, nestled in Robert's arms, instinctively touched her stomach and hesitated. Rob, maybe this baby came at the wrong time, that's why Sarah is angry. Should I get rid of it too? Chloe, don't talk nonsense. This child is the crystallization of our love. We'll have the baby, and I'll take good care of you and our child for life. As for Sarah, she's just, well, she's a derogatory term for a couple, she gets angry easily and can't leave me. And she's used to having abortions, you don't need to worry about her. I took a deep breath. Although I had already decided to give up, I still found my 10 years of dedication laughable. He said the child was the crystallization of their love. How long had they even known each other? If what they had was true love, then what was my decade worth? I walked out but turned back to look at Robert. Robert thought I wasn't willing to break up and wanted to cling to him. He raised an eyebrow and sneered. Don't think about playing any tricks. I am absolutely breaking up with you. But I know you can't live without me. You can stay at my place for now and take care of Chloe. I'll waive the rent. Oh, and Chloe is pregnant now. If I have any physical needs, you know what to do, right? As soon as he finished speaking, a flicker of jealousy crossed Chloe's eyes. But then he immediately turned back to Chloe and spoke with infinite tenderness. Chloe, pregnancy is a big deal. Tell me if you feel uncomfortable, and have Sarah cook whatever you want to eat. She loves doing things like that, anyway. If you don't order her around, she'll actually feel unhappy. I looked at them coldly. I just wanted to tell you that I agreed to the breakup. Robert froze, then sneered. You should have agreed long ago. You've dragged this on for years. Is it your other guy who's unhappy now? My heart ached with bitterness. He was the one who cheated and had a child with someone else, yet he twisted it around and accused me of being unfaithful. Fine, we can break up. But give me back everything of mine that you have first. Robert released Chloe, walked up, and snapped the thin gold necklace off my neck. A red mark instantly appeared on my neck. Although it wasn't deep, the sharp pain still made me tear up. This necklace was a birthday gift he gave me when we first got together. Back then, he had promised me solemnly that even though he couldn't give me a good life at the moment, he would one day. Then you can do whatever you want, and never have to be a working grunt again. 10 years had passed. He was 1,000 times richer than before, but he had completely forgotten the promise he made back then. Then, a dull ache radiated from my wrist. He forcibly pulled off the small silver bangles, which clattered into the trash can. When I first got them, I even needed hand lotion to slide them onto my wrist smoothly. But now he just snatched them without a word, leaving only a small red scrape on the back of my hand. It was then I realized how much weight I had lost. Self-preservation made me step back and shout, Robert, that's enough. What, you agree to break up but not to return my things? Are you planning to take the stuff I bought for you to your other guy? He's so rich, why would he care about these trivial things of mine? He only cares about this body of yours that I've used up. You're scum, both of you. A wave of laughter erupted from the people nearby. I exhaled, wanting to make my final farewell. But Robert had already pulled Chloe into his arms protectively, as if afraid she might feel cold or scared. Sarah, remember this. I can break up with you, but you cannot agree. You better stay by my side like a loyal dog for the rest of your life. Otherwise, neither of you will have a good end." Watching his retreating back, my eyes filled with tears. After everyone left, I saw his best friend standing there with a look of regret. He took a band-aid from a bag and offered it to me, pointing at the red mark on my neck. "Sarah, I'm really sorry. I don't know why Rob suddenly became like this. But he must love you." I felt a little lost. So many people pursued me back then, but I chose Robert, who had nothing. It was precisely because his love was so passionate and unreserved. Enveloped by such love, I truly couldn't accept any other ordinary relationship. But I never expected his deep love to be so short-lived. Not long after we got together, he started to change. I took the band-aid and stuffed it into my clothes without looking. Just then, it started pouring rain, and I couldn't find a cab. I got soaked to the bone, drenched all over. I collapsed by the side of the road. When I woke up, I was in a hospital room. The smell of disinfectant filled my nostrils. When I moved my hand, a sharp, piercing pain shot through me. The nurse changing my dressing sternly ordered, "Don't move." "Why?" "Our hand will swell if the needle gets dislodged." "Okay, thank you." The nurse kept chattering, "You shouldn't thank me, you should thank your husband." "But your husband is something else. On one hand, he didn't take good care of you after your abortion, letting you get drenched like this and collapse on the side of the road. On the other hand, he was so careful when taking care of you, even changing your clothes gently, afraid of hurting you." "Husband?" I looked up abruptly. Just then, I heard footsteps outside the door. The nurse tilted her chin and hummed, "See, it's pouring outside, but he specifically went out to get you something to eat." But the person who walked in wasn't Robert. It was Uncle David, my non-blood relative, whom I hadn't seen in years. I lowered my head awkwardly. "He's not my husband, he's my Uncle David." The nurse grinned, "Well, he's young and handsome, so we got it wrong." David tenderly handed me the chicken soup he was holding. Judging by the packaging, it was from a 5-star hotel. He opened the lid. Although it was just chicken soup, it smelled faintly of chicken broth. "Sarah, if you're not happy, come abroad with me." I said softly, "Uncle David, I'm doing well." "Then why did you collapse alone on the side of the road right after an abortion? If I hadn't happened to be passing by, I can't imagine what would have happened to you." He glanced at his wrist, said he had something to take care of, told me to rest well, and that he'd be back later. After he left, I ate a few spoonfuls of the soup and couldn't help but break down crying. In front of Robert, I would constantly remind myself not to show any vulnerability. After all, he had said countless times that he hated it when women cried. But in the quiet hospital room, looking at the soup and clean clothes Uncle David had left, I suddenly felt an unprecedented sense of grievance. It had been almost a full day since I collapsed. But Robert hadn't called even ONCE. Yet his social media feed was updating post after post. He took Chloe to his parents' graves. He also went to his hometown. After returning, he threw a large baby shower for her to celebrate the pregnancy. He then took her to a wedding planner, a bridal shop, and a jewelry store. Everything was a public declaration that he had found his true love and was getting married soon. In the comments section, one of my friends posted a question, "Is this Robert? Did I add the wrong person? Aren't you Sarah's boyfriend? Did you guys break up?" My friend asked 2 questions in a row. I was about to message my friend privately to explain that we had broken up. But then I saw Robert's reply, "This is Robert, but my fiance's name is Chloe. I've never loved Sarah, just so you know." The line "I've never loved" felt like a heavy hammer, striking my heart. After being discharged from the hospital, while Robert and Chloe were busy wedding planning, I went back to Robert's place to pack my things. When I opened the door, I was startled. The place was a mess. Used tissues littered the floor, and the smell of sex still lingered. Walking into the master bedroom, my clothes were carelessly thrown on the sofa, replaced by Chloe's pure white dresses and t-shirts. There were also some baby clothes that had just been bought and washed once. My jewelry box was also gone. I could live without anything else, but there was a watch in the jewelry box that was my mother's relic. I opened the drawers and looked around, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Just then, Robert and Chloe returned. Chloe's eyes were full of smugness as she pretended to be surprised. "Sarah, are you looking for something?" Robert scoffed. "I thought you had some backbone and wouldn't come back home. Have someone move her clothes to the guest room. Chloe will live in the master bedroom from now on." I interrupted him. "I had a jewelry box here. Have you seen it?" "What, you want to take it with you? All your jewelry was bought by me. You hardly ever wear it anyway." I saw Chloe liked it, so I gave it all to her. Chloe quickly apologized. "I'm sorry, I didn't know you still wanted it. Rob said your Uncle David has plenty of money, so you wouldn't care about these things. Plus, we're getting married soon, and we need money for a lot of things, so I took them to be recycled." Robert pinched her little face. "What a good girl, saving money for me. But you don't have to do this in the future. Even though I'm not as rich as the Miller family, my money and my love are both clean. No matter how rich you are, we're going to spend a lifetime together, so you need to learn to be thrifty too." No wonder Robert liked her. If I were a man, I'd probably like her too. I mumbled, "It's okay about the other things, but there's an old watch in there. Could you please ask Miss Chloe to give it back to me?" "You mean that old watch? That quartz watch?" It was the only thing in the whole box that nobody wanted. I didn't think it was worth anything. It was old and broken, so I threw it away. A buzzing sound filled my ears. That was from my mom. Chloe's eyes turned red, frightened by my fierce tone. "I'm sorry, Sarah, I didn't know. But it's been several days now. Even if it's at the recycling plant, I probably can't find it anymore." I took 2 steps forward, glaring fiercely at Chloe. "How dare you throw away my things?" Robert pushed me away abruptly. "So what if it's thrown away? What can you do about it? If your mom hadn't remarried and taken you to the Miller estate, you wouldn't have met David, and I wouldn't have been cheated on for so long, right? It should have been thrown away long ago. Why are you yelling at Chloe? Apologize. She's pregnant now, she's not well, and her emotions are unstable. She can't handle being upset. Apologize. Get down on your knees and apologize." The way he protected another woman felt so strange to me. Deep been pregnant for him 13 times, and he always said it was just a pregnancy, nothing more. When had he ever cared for my emotions so carefully? It seemed the difference between love and not loving was immense. This relationship had only left me physically and emotionally exhausted in the end. I said helplessly, "Robert, I just came to get my things. Let's not see each other again." Robert was momentarily stunned, then slapped me across the face. "I told you, I can say we're breaking up, but you can't agree. Have you forgotten everything I said?" Covering my slapped face, enduring the stinging pain, I asked him what he wanted. "You've found your love now, and you're getting married. If you're not breaking up with me, do you want a threesome? Are you jealous?" A look of delight appeared on Robert's face. "Wouldn't a threesome be good? You can taste what it's like to be cheated on, you can experience what I've endured for years dealing with you and David." I was bewildered. "I haven't seen Uncle David in years, why do you keep bringing him up? What do our issues have to do with him?" Robert froze. "Haven't seen each other in years? When did your relationship become so open and above board?" For some reason, I noticed Chloe seemed a little guilty. However, before I could ponder it further, I heard Robert sneer. "One's a niece, the other's an uncle. How can you two speak of such a taboo relationship so righteously? Back when my mother remarried into the Miller family, she brought me along. David and I were close in age, and he always looked out for me. We studied together, ate together, and went to tutoring together. Later, in college, he repeatedly made it clear that I shouldn't date. When I asked him why, he would say that outside men couldn't be trusted, they might all be after the Miller family, with malicious intentions. Later still, one night when he was drunk, he half-seriously revealed his feelings. I was so scared I fled. Soon after, I found an excuse to move out of the Miller estate. Not long after, I met Robert, who had nothing. I decided to have a normal, happy relationship with him. And David went abroad not long after, hadn't returned for years, and we hadn't kept in touch. But I never expected his name to follow me constantly, no matter how well I did, no matter how much I loved Robert. As soon as the name David appeared, all my efforts were rendered useless. I frowned, not wanting to argue anymore. You don't believe me, so nothing I say matters. Let's break up. I wish you happiness. Just as I was about to leave, Robert instinctively blocked my way. And behind me, there was a crash. I turned and saw Chloe had fallen down the stairs. I wanted to go upstairs to get my favorite watch to compensate Sarah. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have taken Sarah's things. Robert said heartbrokenly, then you shouldn't go up and down the stairs by yourself. How dangerous. You hold on, I'll take you to the hospital. As he walked past me, Robert gave me a meaningful look. You're coming too. After all, Chloe fell and got hurt trying to get something for you. Follow me. When Chloe is okay, you'll apologize to her. And don't think about running off. Otherwise, I'll make your and David's business public. Let's see if the Miller family wants an incestuous person as an heir. But when I tried to follow, I found there was no place for me. His car only had 2 seats, and the driver was off today. Take a cab yourself, or walk. I'll wait for you at the hospital. If you're not there within an hour, you'll face the consequences. But Robert's mansion was on the hillside, and there were no cars available at this hour. I wanted to say something else, but Robert's car had already driven off. I knew he was a man of his word, especially when it came to anything involving David. To avoid implicating the Miller family, I had no choice but to run like my life depended on it. I.e. Then broke my shoe heel and scraped my feet raw. I reached the hospital's emergency room within the hour. Robert looked at my bleeding feet and nearly held his nose in disgust. Go clean yourself up before coming in. Lying in the hospital bed, Chloe was pale but seemed quite energetic. I'm sorry, Sarah. I really can't stand the smell of blood. I always feel nauseous when I'm pregnant. I said in a low voice, I did what you asked. I hope you'll keep your promise. I'm leaving. I won't disturb you. But Robert stopped me again. You wouldn't dare. Just then, his phone rang. After answering a call, his expression changed drastically, and he left the hospital room in a hurry. Just as I was about to leave, Chloe suddenly fell out of the hospital bed. She cried out, Sarah, you can't do this to me. I'm pregnant with Rob's child. I watched as blood flowed from her lower body and frantically fumbled for the call button. By the time the medical staff arrived, Robert was also back in the room. Chloe desperately clung to Robert's hand. I know I shouldn't have tried to take you from Sarah, but I'm pregnant with your child. My baby is innocent. Why do the adults' problems have to involve the child? I already fell trying to get something for her. The baby didn't drop. Is she not satisfied? My baby, I'm in pain. Robert's brow furrowed deeply. He looked at me with disappointment. Are you so determined to see me suffer? Just when I finally found someone who loves me wholeheartedly and is willing to bear my children, you have to try and kill them both? I was speechless. I wanted to speak several times but ultimately remained silent. When the medical staff finished and Robert pushed Chloe out of the emergency room, his gaze towards me was colder than ever before. Did you know that your Uncle David tried to get back at me by targeting me in business, costing me a deal worth tens of millions? Did you know about that? I was taken aback, because in my memo, David was definitely not someone who would act impulsively or mix personal feelings with business. And here you are, hurting my woman and my child. You two really are in sync. I instinctively wanted to explain, but then I closed my mouth. I had already checked earlier, and there were no cameras in the hospital room. Even if I told the truth, to outsiders, it would just seem like forced excuses. When it came down to one person's word against another's, I never believed Robert would trust me. Why aren't you saying anything? You're not trying to accuse Chloe of falling out of bed herself, are you? She loves me so much, having this child means she can marry me. No matter how much she hates you, she wouldn't risk this baby. Sarah, You're truly disgusting." In his eyes, I was a disgusting, worthless woman. And Chloe was an innocent, pure white flower. A pure white flower was kind and simple and wouldn't do anything to frame others. Looking at that miserable face of yours, I feel like I could throw up. Since you're so ungrateful and determined to upset me, I'll let you taste my power today. He kicked me in the abdomen, sending me flying several feet away. The intense pain in my stomach nearly made me faint. "Sarah, I told you, I really hate hypocrites like you and David. You're clearly engaging in filthy, depraved incest, yet you pretend to be pure and noble. You're clearly still hung up on him, yet you acted like you were deeply in love with me." He wasn't finished. He stepped forward and placed his foot on my hand, grinding it back and forth with force. "Did you enjoy messing with me, watching me toss and turn over you? Tell your Uncle David, maybe compared to him, I have nothing, so I have nothing to fear." I was crying and laughing at the same time, my expression grotesque. "Rob, don't be angry anymore. Let Sarah go. David is someone we can't afford to provoke." Chloe sounded like she was pleading, but everyone knew Robert hated David the most and was stubborn and highly competitive. The more she spoke like that, the angrier Robert became. "David? Who the hell is David? Everyone is afraid of him." "I'm not. Isn't he just some scavenger?" My heart and body were numb with pain. It turned out the most painful thing in the world wasn't death, but being repeatedly and cruelly humiliated by the person you loved. I even wondered if these 10 years had been a complete mistake. All wrong. After a long time, I finally looked up, my face pale, and sneered, "Robert, compared to my Uncle David, are you that insecure? So insecure that you think you don't deserve to be loved?" Robert's eyes turned red. The scene fell silent for a moment. Suddenly, someone cried out, "Look! Miss Chloe is bleeding again." Robert quickly turned around. Chloe's face was pale, as if enduring immense pain. "I'm fine, Rob. Talk to Sarah nicely." "I'm fine, and I don't blame her." Robert knelt down and half held her in his arms, comforting her. "You don't blame her because you're kind. I have nothing to say to her. She harmed you like this. I will definitely make her pay." After the doctor examined her and saw the amount of bleeding, he immediately shook his head. "The baby definitely can't be saved." Chloe started crying, looking so fragile she might break at any moment. Robert's heart ached with sympathy, and he turned back and slapped me across the face again. "You can't have children yourself, so you want to kill Chloe's baby? How could you be so vicious?" I gasped in surprise, unsure what to say. After all, it wasn't that I couldn't have children, it was that he wouldn't let me. I had 13 abortions for him, enduring physical and emotional pain every time, and he never once showed any sympathy. Now he was saying I couldn't have children. "Sarah, I was going to give you a chance, but not anymore. I want you to pay for my child's life. If you refuse me, I'll make your and David's business public." That trick again. And it always worked. David had always been good to me. He hadn't harassed me or forced me into anything all these years. I couldn't implicate him or the Miller family because of my personal problems. So I mustered my courage and looked at Robert. "I'll agree to whatever you say, but promise me this is the last time, okay? I've been with you for 10 years and lost 13 babies for you. Just show some mercy. After this, just let me go." Robert paused for a second, then sneered, "David can't wait anymore, can he?" I knew this day would come. "Fine. As long as you can endure it, I'll be generous and let you two scum have your twisted love." I braced myself mentally. But when he brought me to the location, I still felt a surge of panic. He had brought me to the city's largest underground auction house. And he was pushing me onto the stage to be auctioned off. Even if a woman I've slept with is trash, there are plenty of people in Westwood City who'd want a taste. "As long as you survive this, I'll let you go." He produced a certificate with a bloodied handprint on it. It stated that from this day forward, Robert and Sarah would go their separate ways, their paths never to cross again. He had been in the underworld since his teens and valued loyalty above all else. I carefully put away the certificate and said thank you. Then I raised my head and walked onto the auction block. The people below were murmuring, their expressions varied. Robert sat in the center with the pale-faced Chloe in his arms, waiting to see who would win the bid for my item. My God, is Mr. Robert serious? Sarah has been with him for 10 years. So what if she's been with him for 10 years? It's her fault for being unfaithful. I heard Mr. Robert is furious because she cheated on him. No way, she looks decent. Turns out she's a cheating whore. Then I definitely have to bid on her to see what she's like. This was followed by lewd laughter. Just then, the door was kicked open. A group of bodyguards, all men in black suits, ushered a heavily veiled man into the underground auction house's only private room. Everyone's attention was drawn to them. Who is that? He has more presence than Mr. Robert. Could it be David? Robert released Chloe, stood up, and rushed over to kick open the door of the private room. The man inside sneered, "What's the meaning of this, Mr. Robert? You can come, but I can't? Alexander! Why couldn't it be me? I was bored today and came to join the fun. Is that not allowed?" It was Alexander, the only son of the Zhao family, titans in the catering industry. In recent years, the Zhao family had kept a low profile, rarely venturing out. It was difficult for ordinary people to even meet them, let alone deal with them. I never expected to see someone from the Zhao family here. Although Robert was a significant figure in Westwood City's underworld, he was still a step below these old money families like the Zhaos. He could only offer a reluctant, perfunctory apology before returning to his seat. Just then, the auctioneer announced the start of the auction. All the previous items were won by Robert. Whether it was Han Dynasty jade or Song Dynasty porcelain. Chloe is educated, she likes things with history. I bought these to entertain her. When she's in a good mood, the next baby will come faster. I'm eager to have a child, so please bear with me. He was rich and powerful. With him saying that, naturally no one dared to compete with him. I was caged on the stage, watching him lavish money on another woman. The happier he looked, the smugger Chloe became, the more numb my heart felt. When the cloth covering the cage was completely removed, everyone eagerly craned their necks to look at me. Before the auctioneer could even speak, Alexander's bodyguard was the first to call out. Called for the highest stake. What? Everyone knew Robert brought me here to vent his anger and humiliate me for revenge. Alexander had called for the highest stake. Wasn't that clearly intended to provoke Robert? Why would someone from the Zhao family call for the highest stake for this woman? Who knows? Maybe this woman is just hooking up everywhere, and she's involved with Alexander too. Robert's face immediately changed, and he roared in anger. Alexander, what do you mean by this? What do you plan to do with the woman you bid on? Do you like eating things other people have already chewed? Alexander, however, wasn't angry. He didn't even stand up. He just gestured for someone to come onto the stage and untie me. Our Zhao family is rich, we spend our money however we like. Who I bid on is my freedom. Besides, Mr. Robert, have you ever seen someone sell his own woman? Only lowlifes, men with no capability, sell women. Even if Miss Sarah had a past with Mr. Robert, she certainly doesn't now, right? Since she's presented as an item for bidding, and I bid on her and take her home, what business is it of yours what I do with her? Alexander's refined demeanor, typical of old money families, instantly overshadowed Robert. Robert looked at me, weak and vulnerable, and sneered, "I thought David would come to save you. I didn't realize you had so many other guys." It wasn't David after all. Since Mr. Alexander likes you so much, why don't you go with him? Show him all your tricks in bed. Don't let Mr. Alexander's money go to waste. In front of the large crowd, he described me as a lewd and shameless woman. Everyone looked at me with strange eyes. Only Alexander remained unfazed. He took off his jacket and draped it over my shoulders. He led me away from the scene under everyone's gaze. Before I walked out, I heard Chloe's voice behind me. "It's okay, Rob. It's better if Sarah goes with Mr. Alexander. We even made a profit. Anyway, you still have me, and soon we'll have our baby." "Get out!" Robert's mood was agitated. After that, I couldn't hear anything else. Once in the car, I felt my entire body tense up. Alexander said softly, "Sarah, don't be afraid. David asked me to help him and come get you." After a moment's hesitation, I said, "I've caused him trouble." Alexander smiled. "You two are really awkward. One wants to save you but is afraid of damaging your reputation, and the other, after being saved, is worried about causing trouble for the other person. Life is so short, just a few decades. Be brave, be honest. Go after what you want, so you don't miss out." I choked back tears. After a long while, I spoke in a very low voice, "I want to see my Uncle David. Could you please take me? And one more thing, in the past 10 years, I've had 13 abortions for Robert. Every time, I extracted amniotic fluid and did a paternity test. Please send those test results to Robert. Also, the 6th baby was induced. It already had hands and feet at the time. I had the infant's body preserved at the hospital using special means. Please find a way to let Robert see it. I hope he can never sleep peacefully again." After I left, Robert seemed determined to prove he was no less than the Miller or Zhao families. He spent a fortune buying Chloe a luxurious mansion and took her on various trips. Major financial media and entertainment blogs were buzzing with stories about this black market tycoon's love life. Mr. Robert cleaned up his act for Ms. Chloe, almost legitimizing all his businesses. During wedding planning, Mr. Robert took his beloved fiancée on a trip seeking blessings. The two were hand in hand, deeply in love. I'm so envious of Ms. Chloe. In her early 20s, she's already reached the finish line many people strive for their whole lives. A month later, Robert finally returned to the house he used to live in. Opening the door, he subconsciously called out Sarah's name. But then he immediately realized Sarah wasn't there anymore. He closed his mouth, feeling lost, and walked upstairs. However, everything belonging to her in the master bedroom was gone. Even their couple photos hanging on the wall and Sarah's large portrait were all missing. Robert frowned and called the housekeeper, asking where the things had gone. The housekeeper was surprised. "Didn't you know? Didn't you tell us to throw them away? You said you were getting married soon, and it wasn't appropriate to keep Miss Sarah's things here." "When did I tell you to throw them away? Ms. Chloe said so." Robert felt a knot in his stomach but didn't know who to vent his anger on. It was only then he remembered Sarah had been taken away by Alexander a month ago. After that, as if in a pique, he deliberately avoided paying attention to where Sarah had gone. They had been together for 10 years. He was convinced Sarah wouldn't really break up with him. If she didn't love him deeply, why would she willingly have 13 abortions for him? But this time, why hadn't she contacted him in a month? Thinking this, a sense of indescribable unease grew in Robert's heart. He frantically called people to investigate Sarah's whereabouts. Before he even received a reply from his assistant, the housekeeper's anxious voice came from downstairs. "Sir, there's a package for Miss Sarah." Robert's heart thumped. He hurried downstairs to get it. He opened it and found 13 paternity tests. He couldn't believe Sarah had extracted amniotic fluid for a paternity test every single time she was pregnant. And the result of every test was positive. They were father and child. Robert's pupils dilated indefinitely. But Chloe had told him she had seen Sarah meeting with David behind his back multiple times while she was in college, hadn't she? She had even found a lot of surveillance footage, even from 10 years ago. He just hadn't had the courage to look. But why were there these test results now? Sarah must be lying. But the next second, he received a phone call. Alexander's voice on the other end was laced with disdain. "Robert, dare you come to the hospital with me? I'll show you something." Robert had a premonition that what he was about to see would shock him. But he had to face it. However, even though he was prepared, when he saw the body of a several-months-old infant preserved in preservation fluid, he was still so shocked he nearly collapsed. "This is your child, Mr. Robert. You should remember, right? I know you might have doubts about those paternity tests. You can do another test now if you want." Robert actually knew in his heart that he was wrong. But he still couldn't admit it. He remembered the first time Sarah was pregnant. She was so excited sharing the news with him. But because he learned that David had feelings for Sarah, he suspected the child wasn't his. He personally took Sarah to the hospital and told her he didn't want a child yet, hoping she would be understanding and not cause him any trouble. The light in Sarah's eyes was extinguished then. The second time, the third time. She didn't ask why. One time, she was busy with work and neglected her health. She thought it was just a simple hormonal imbalance. By the time she discovered she was pregnant, she was already over 3 months along. For the first time, she asked to keep the baby and hid away. They didn't see each other for over a month. Robert couldn't find her anywhere. Finally, Robert faked an injury, tricked her into coming to him, and forcibly performed an induced abortion on her. It must have been that child. The ring of the phone jolted Robert out of his memories. It was Chloe's voice on the other end. Rob, why aren't you back yet? I miss you. Didn't you say you wanted a baby soon? Come back quickly, it's my ovulation day today. We can just. Chloe's voice was full of seduction. Normally, Robert would have been completely captivated. But today, he cut her off directly. Chloe, you said you had evidence of Sarah and David meeting privately. Send it to me. Immediately. Chloe's voice became defensive. Why do you suddenly want to see it? Didn't you say you were afraid of dirtying your eyes? In reality, she had no such evidence. She had only accidentally read Robert's diary and knew he was suspicious of Sarah, so she fabricated this story. Send it to me now. Chloe lost it and burst into tears. It's been so many years, how could I possibly find it? Wasn't it you who didn't want it back then? Now that the evidence is lost, are you blaming me? Robert scoffed, told his bodyguards to watch her and not let her leave, and immediately rushed back home. By the time he got home, Chloe was terrified, her face ashen. She knew Robert's methods too well. Her years of deception were nothing but opportunistic moves, knowing he and Sarah were deeply in love but also deeply misunderstanding each other, which she exploited. I was wrong, I shouldn't have lied to you, I don't have any evidence at all. But I only did it because I love you too much. I don't want someone else to steal you away. Rob, don't be angry. Let's have a baby, okay? Didn't you say you wanted a home, you wanted a child? Robert kicked her several feet away. Have a baby with me? Do you think you're worthy? On his way home, he had already found out exactly who Chloe was. She had not only been using his name to flaunt herself, causing trouble for many, but she had also been hooking up with some wealthy industrialists behind his back, just to make enough money to maintain her respectable facade. When he saw the explicit photos of Chloe, he couldn't believe that he had lost Sarah for a woman like this. Robert sold Chloe to an establishment to work as a hostess, spending her days surrounded by different men. Robert even specifically told them not to go easy on her. Miss Chloe likes things wild in bed. Don't let her think you're not up to it. Within a month, Chloe was sent to the hospital due to a severe injury. However, I didn't know any of this. I was in a small country in Europe, preparing for my wedding. David had moved my official ties out of the Miller family. He also relinquished control over family affairs. I've been abroad for many years and built up quite a few businesses. Don't worry, David said gently. You should have known long ago that I'm not some second-generation heir who can't survive without the family. On the day of the wedding, Robert actually showed up. He stood below, looking at David and me, his face full of disbelief. How can you two get married? You're uncle and niece. This is incest. Sarah, you can't marry him, you're my fiancé. I know you're angry, but I realize I was wrong. I've sent Chloe away. Come back with me. I smiled faintly, holding David's hand. What nonsense are you talking about, Mr. Robert? My husband and I are childhood sweethearts. Why can't we get married? Besides, Mr. Robert already has someone else in his heart. Why don't you learn to be content with what you have? I didn't intend to say more to him. Robert, I'm tired of our decade-long entanglement. I don't love you, and I won't come back. You should leave now, or my husband isn't someone you want to mess with. David had long been displeased with Robert's actions. At this moment, his face was filled with anger. Robert, even though this isn't the city, and I don't have the Miller family backing me, dealing with you is still easy. Get out before I get angry. Don't ruin my wedding. The news of Robert showing up to disrupt the wedding spread on social media. But no one spoke up for him. Because everyone knew that in this relationship, I was the one who had been completely wronged. Abandoning your loved ones, this is your retribution. After the bodyguards kicked him out, the wedding continued. David quietly asked me if I still felt sad. I laughed softly and shook my head. There's nothing to be sad about. I truly did my best in that relationship. Even though I misjudged him, I still need to continue believing in love. Uncle David, let's not talk about unimportant people anymore. We need to go toast everyone. After a full day of festivities, the house became quiet again. My new life had truly begun.